So, good morning to the lecturer, Miss Fiona, and to my teammate. So, today I'm going to present cross communications in Malaysia. So, first, what is cultural? So, cultural means a socially transmitted behavior, art, architectures, language, science, symbols, idea, belief, norms, traditions, and many more, which is learned and shared in particular social group of same nationality, ethnicity, religions, and many more. And in Malaysia, what is the culture difference? So different culture have different meaning of words, behavior, gesture, and culture also give a rise to prejudice, manners, and options. It forms the way people think and behave. And when people belonging to different culture communicate, these are factors that can be barrier. So how culture can affect communications? There are many, that which is language and sign and symbol, behavior, belief, religions, and ethnocentrums. So first, language is a different culture have developed their own language as a part as their heritage, and people are comfortable communicating in their own language, whereas have to work hard to learn a new language. For example, separations of East and West Germany for 40 years cause the language are different, and the dialect became very different as people of East German had an influence on Russian language, whereas West Germans had influence of English. So they had a barrier in communicating with each other for decades. And even when people try to express in their own language, there are many misunderstandings arise, and it become more profound in people speaking different language. The second culture difference can affect communications is sign and symbols, that which can be said as semantics, that non-verbal communication cannot be relied upon in communications between people from different culture, as that is also different like language. Sign and symbol are gesture various in different culture. So the example the sign thumbs up is taken as a sign of approval and wishing luck in most of the cultures, but is taken in an assault in Bangladesh, similar to the V hand gesture in palm face out or inside means victory and peace in US, but back of hand facing someone showing the signs is taken as insulting in many culture. And third will be behavior and belief. So culture difference cause behavior and personality difference like body language, thinking, communications, manner, norms, and many more, which leads to miscommunication. For example, in some culture, eye contact is important, whereas in some it is rude and disrespectful. And culture also set a specific norms which dictates behavior, as they have guidelines for accepted behavior, and it explains what is right and wrong. Every action is influenced by culture, like ambition, career, interests, values, and many more. And beliefs are also another cause of a culture behavior. Sorry. So next will be religion, which is similar to the ethnocentrism and stereotyping. Religion also disrupt communication as it creates a specific image of people who follow other religions. People also find it difficult to talk to people who follow different religions. Religious views influence how people think about others, and it creates difference in opinions. For example, in Pakistan, the Christians have to speak up for their rights as the majority is of Islam, and the Christians are discriminated. And there is also a lack of communications between these religious groups. For instance, mostly people who believe in God can cope with their loss of life easily than atheists, but atheists are more hardworking at all time, which relate their behavior and communications. Then, as I said, the religion are similar to ethnocentrism. So, ethnocentrism is the process of dividing cultures as us and them. The people of some's own culture are categorized as in group and the other culture is out group. There is also greater preference in the in group. So there is an illusion of out group as evil and inferior, and this evolutions is mostly negative. And if the culture is similar to us, then it is good, and if it's dissimilar, it is bad. Others' culture is evaluated and is assessed with the standard being their own culture. So, ethnocentrism affects the understandings of message and encourage hostility. So, for example, the book in schools use reference for their own culture to describe their culture by either showing common things or difference. Okay, so how to overcome the culture barrier? So it's very easy. That is, we have five of the sorry, the overcoming culture barriers are like frames and reference and political options, priorities of life and age, and many more. And cross-cultural communication is not only a barrier but also an opportunity for creativity, new perspective, and openness to new idea and unity in the world. So to make communication effective, the cause of cultural communication barrier must be eliminated as much as possible. And cross-cultural communications understanding must be increased as it decrease communication barrier by caused by culture difference. Then next question is five cross-cultural communication that occur in Malaysia, and I'll pass it to my group mate. This is Hannah. Thank you.
Thank you, Melvin. So, five cross-cultural communication that can occur in Malaysia is that firstly, it is an indirect communication. As an extension to the need to maintain harmonious relation, Malaysians rely on indirect communication. Great consideration is made to ensure that what is said, how is it said, and how much is said does not offend the other person in the interaction. Words are chosen to be polite and not assertive. Speech can be ambiguous as they often understand their point. For example, they may take a while to talk about other things before arriving at the intended topic. More attention is paid to posture, expression, and tone of voice to communicate meaning. The purpose of this is to maintain politeness and respect throughout the conversation and also prevent a loss of face on either end of the exchange. The best way to find the underlying meaning is to check for clarification several times by asking open-end questions. Next is language style. The Malay language uses many similes, idioms, proverbs, peribahasa, short evocates verses, which is pantun, and poems, which is syair. Figurative language allows people to express their point indirectly. For example, criticism may be presented in the example of a poem that reflects a similar scenario. The third one is refusal. A Malaysian person's preoccupation with saving face and politeness means they will seldom give a flat no or negative response, even when they do not agree with you. Therefore, focus on hints of hesitation, listening for what they say, but also paying careful attention to what they may subtly allude to. Fourth is a soft voice. Speaking loudly is generally interpreted negatively as kasar, crass or coarse in Malaysia. Instead, it is expected that people speak gently and softly, regardless the nature of the conversation. That being said, Malaysians are not so cautious about this that they never speak loudly. For example, they will generally use their voice when they get excited. So, lastly, laughter. Malaysians may laugh when they are embarrassed as a defense mechanism. The timing may seem inappropriate or awkward in certain scenarios. Consider that it can indicate their unease. 5 ways to effectively communicate with individuals with culture differences. So, firstly, we have maintain etiquette. Many cultures have specific etiquette around the way they communicate. Before you meet, research the target culture, or if time allows, do some cross-culture training. For example, many cultures expect a degree of formality at the beginning of communication with individual. Every culture has its own specific way of indicating this formality. Her and Frau in Germany, is reversing family and given name in China, and the use of san in Japan for men and women, etc. Be aware of this familiarity tokens and don't jump straight to first name terms until you receive a cue from the other person to do so. So next we have speak slowly. Even if English is the common language in a cross-cultural situation, it's not a good idea to speak at your normal conversation speed. Modulating your pace will help, as will speaking clearly and pronouncing your word properly. Break your sentences into short, definable section and give your listener time to translate and digest your word as you go. But don't slow down too much, as it might seem patronizing. If the person you're speaking is talking too quickly, or their accent is making it difficult for you to understand them, don't be afraid to politely ask them to slow down too. So next we have avoid slang. So not even the most educated non-native English speaker will have comprehensive understanding of English. Slang, idioms, and saying they may understand the individual words you have said, but not the context or the meaning. As a result, you could end up confusing them or worse, offending them. And then the fourth is keep it simple. In a cross-cultural conversation, there is no need to make it hard for both of you by using big words. Just keep it simple. 2-syllable words are much easier to understand than 3-syllable words. and one-syllable words are better than two-syllable words. Say please do it quickly rather than please do this in an infectious manner. So the last one is practice active listening. So practice active listening is very effective strategy for improving cross-cultural communication. We state or summarize what the other person has said to ensure that you have understood, that you have to refer that you have understood them correctly, and ask frequent questions. This helps build reports and ensure that important information doesn't get misunderstood. So, in conclusion, that contact between culture is important in our everyday lives. Some people communicate better than others. Some people conflict, whereas others get on well. It is true for cases when the two parties are from different cultural settings. People are presenting different cultural face numerous objective and subjective barriers. It is possible to overcome them. In the modern world, all people should be aware of culture-specific differences and be ready to embrace it. Effective intercultural communication is important. It leads to good relationship, successful business deals, emotional enrichment, and more. So that's all from us. Thank you. Bye.